Madam Chair, I'd like to yield the balance of my time to the gentlewoman from New York.
Dr. Kornbluth, at MIT, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate MIT's code of conduct or rules regarding bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
If targeted at individuals, not making public statements.
Yes or no? Calling for the genocide of Jews does not constitute bullying and harassment?
I have not heard calling for the genocide for Jews on our campus.
But you've heard chants for intifada.
I've heard chants, which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context, when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
So those would not be according to the MIT's code of conduct or rules?
That would be investigated as harassment if pervasive and severe.
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment, yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill. So is your testimony that you will not answer yes?
If it if the
Yes
speech
or no?
becomes if the speech becomes conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
Conduct meaning committing the act of genocide? The speech is not harassment? This is unacceptable, Ms. McGill. I'm going to give you one more opportunity for the world to see your answer. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be harassment.
The answer is yes. And Dr. Gay, at Harvard, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
It can be, depending on the context.
What's the context?
Targeted as an individual, targeted at an individual.
It's targeted at
pervasive.
Jewish students, Jewish individuals. Do you understand your testimony is dehumanizing them? Do you understand that dehumanization is part of anti-Semitism? I will ask you one more time. Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Harvard's rules of bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric. When
And is it anti-Semitic rhetoric?
Anti-Semitic rhetoric, when it crosses into conduct that amounts to bullying, harassment, intimidation, that is actionable conduct, and we do take action.
So the answer is yes, that calling for the genocide of Jews violates Harvard Code of Conduct, correct?
Again, it depends on the context.
It does not depend on the context. The answer is yes, and this is why you should resign. These are unacceptable answers across the board.
When someone obstructs justice, refuses to comply with the subpoena, and Mr. Issa can make up all of the facts that he wants about declaring it to be classified because he thought it or whatever it is, that will be decided in court. All of these cases will be decided in court by a jury based on the facts, evidence, and the law. And all the Republican majority is trying to do here today is lawfare, is interfere in ongoing criminal investigations that our system is perfectly well equipped to handle. And I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. I now recognize Ms. Stefanik for 5 minutes.
Oh, I love being able to respond to the novice from New York. First of all, thank you so much for stating the obvious that political lawfare is in fact election interference. That's what we're seeing with the sham Alvin Bragg trial. Thank you also to the novice freshman member for New York, highlighting that withholding military aid to an ally for a political purpose, just like Joe Biden is doing to Israel. Always grateful for you stepping in it. Mr. Costello.
President Schill, the ADL released its report card for universities' responses to anti-Semitism. And you're aware that Northwestern was the only university whose grade was downgraded, correct?
Yes, I am aware of that.
And isn't it also true that the Northwestern earned an F for your failure to respond and combat anti-Semitism, and they called for your resignation? Is that correct?
I have great respect for the ADL.
I'm not asking your respect for the ADL. I'm asking, is it a fact that you earned an F and they called for your resignation?
I have great respect for the ADL. I am sad that they gave Northwestern
But
an
it's
F.
true. You got an F. Yes.
I want to ask you, what period of time were you negotiating for your book deal?
Congresswoman, if there was a fact in what you said.
No, I'm asking
it
you a
was there by
question.
mistake.
I'm asking you a question. What dates did you negotiate for your book deal? That is the question before you today.
Answering a question that
No.
you asked.
The question that I
My
asked.
testimony says, during
No.
that time, did you have any discussions with the executive chamber regarding the need for guidance?
That's not the testimony
Not
I'm
that
referring
I
to.
recall.
Absolutely
Not
was the
that I
answer.
recall.
Governor, absolutely. You're throwing your staff under the bus.
Also-
You are culpable for this. My question to you is, when were you negotiating for your multi-million-dollar advance deal for your book as seniors were dying in nursing homes? That is
Also-
the question in front of you.
You can't make up facts, Congresswoman.
You're the one making up facts. You're the one who undercounted
Attorney
nursing home
General-
deaths. You're the one who I want to ask
The
right
Attorney
now.
General said
You
the exact
apologize today,
opposite.
but there are families sitting here. I want you to turn around, look them in the eye, and apologize, which you
This
have
is no-
failed to do. Will you do
Congresswoman,
it?
This is not about political theater. It's
No,
about
this is
giving
about
answers.
accountability.
Why did 1.2 million Americans die? Why did more
Why
Americans
are
die
you?
than any
No,
country on
no.
the globe?
You're the former governor
Why
who's
did you let
disgraced
the
under oath.
president
No.
lie to the
This
people
executive
of the
order was
United
under
States?
your name. It was counter to
Why
CDC
did
and
you
CMS.
let President Trump lie?
This is about those seniors,
understand
Governor.
you were
They
running for
deserve
vice
to
president,
hear from you
but
in
you
the
should have
eye
stood up
that
for
you
your
apologize,
constituents
that you were
first.
negotiating for a multi-million-dollar book deal. It is a disgrace. There is a reason why you were the former governor of New York State, and you will never hold elected office again. I yield back.